So, back once again to the desk. This is going kind of in reverse. These guns were out for the test section number 2, which was the cold weather test. And now I'm going back to section 1, which is going to be the full disassembly of the guns and cleaning. What I hope to do with this section here is take each gun down fully, and see how easy it is, see what tools are required, and to see if it could be done out in the wilds. And I'm not going to bore anyone with me taking apart all these guns and showing it, because there's already videos online about how to do that. What I will do is I will take them all apart. I will G96 all of them, so I could do the cold weather test again with some proper cold lubrication on them. But I will come back after I'm done and discuss my findings for each gun about how they were able, or how easy they were to take down, what tools were required, and what I thought of the makeup of the gun, the parts and the stuff on the inside. All the guns look good though. I just went over them all and checked for any damage from the cold test, and I could not see any visible damage, so that's a good thing. Gun number 1, the Henry US Survival Rifle. This one disassembled very easily. In fact, I disassembled it by accident. I haven't even watched a video on how to do this one yet. I was just merely taking it apart off of the stock and off the barrel off of the receiver to make sure that I didn't have water, because I'm finding there was water in the guns from the cold test I did, and I was playing with the bolt release, and it popped out, and out came the bolt, and then I realized that's how it disassembles. So without even reading the manual, I was able to disassemble this gun in a matter of seconds. So, easy disassembly, very easily. The receiver gets unscrewed off of the buttstock, the barrel gets unscrewed off the receiver. You position the bolt charging handle in front of the enlarged hole there, and it pops out of the bolt, and you slide the whole bolt assembly out. The trigger and safety mechanisms stay internal. Oh, there's a big screw in the back there. So it looks like we undo that big screw, and this plate here comes off. But for just a field disassembly, very, very easy. What have I noticed about this gun now that I have it disassembled? Well, I don't have the trigger group open yet, but the barrel I still feel is really chintzy with this plastic coating, but so far it hasn't caused me any problems. What I have found though is that this front sight, which is plastic, high vis, nice, really easy to see, but I can push this left, right, I can just use my thumb and push it clean out. It's I don't know if it's because of the extremes of going from cold to warm room or what, but this certainly is far too easy to move. There probably should be some sort of spring tension in there, or a set pin or something to hold that, because if I can move it if I can push it out with my thumb, then it can definitely get banged out if you were out in the bush with it, I would think. Other than that, not a bad looking little gun. Metal, all metal for the receiver, bolt, springs, bolt, or charging handle. Barrel is a metal inner, metal shank with a plastic shroud, plastic sights, and of course this is all plastic. So I'm going to pop off this and have a look at the internals, but I don't see anything else that we need to discuss. Oh, the mags. Mags are metal. Just press sheet. So I don't think I'll be taking these apart as well. And the bottoms just pop off there, it looks like, but they are pressed metal. I have no need to take these apart right now. I should be able to clean them without it. So yeah, that's that. Build quality, at a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I would say this is probably 7 or 8. 8 because it's fairly good. Maybe knock it down to the 7 because of that front sight being so loose in there. I don't see a way of tightening that either. There we go. There's your Henry AR7 US Survival Rifle. Just a quick add-on to the Henry Survival Rifle. When you do pop that plate off, the plate is what is holding the internals there in order. They are under spring tension, and there are little itty bitty tiny little pieces. Looks to be one pin for sure, a couple small springs as well. You definitely wouldn't want to be pulling this apart out in the field. Like I said, it's under spring tension. You can't grab them to disassemble them when you're popping the plate off. It's one of those you should probably put in a Ziploc bag to when you're popping that plate off, because it just went. So thankfully the pieces didn't go flying. They stayed here. So this is good though. I'm gonna give this a good G96. Get everything nice and coated in that good cold weather oil. So there you go. Only tool required for the disassembly: flat bladed screwdriver. Most Americans love their flat-headed screws. Drives me crazy. There we go. Alright, gun number 2. The Marlin Papoose 70 PSS. Disassembly. Again, quite easy. Kind of what we expect in a modern rifle. It should be able to come apart for disassembly and clean quite easily. 2 things. You need 2 tools for this. 1, you need the barrel wrench. They say you can use a coin, but they say if you don't use the wrench, it won't get tight enough. It'll loosen up, which of course will affect accuracy. So you need the little spanner that comes with it. Second thing is you need to be able to take out the 2 screws that are in the stock to pull out the receiver and everything, and you need a hex key for that, or a T20 to do it. Build quality, everything looks fantastic. Everything's metal, really good. A lot of smaller parts. I didn't take apart this. I don't even know what this would be called in this gun, but lots of little springs, lots of little parts. I wouldn't want to be doing that in the field, and I don't even want to do it here on my bench. So I'm going to leave this together as a package deal, and hopefully it'll stay there. Looks like it's got a lot of split rings keeping everything in place, which is good. Yeah, a couple of them there. So I'm going to clean it just the way it is. The receiver, it's interesting how very similar to a Ruger, or Ruger's very similar to this, or I don't know which one was made first, but well, no, these were made in the 80s, right? But these are off of the based off of the Marlin, what, 795. So I don't know what the 795 is like on the inside, but this is very similar to Ruger. It's a lot narrower, the Ruger being twice as wide. But internally on the inside and stuff, like, it's the same kind of bolt thing. Even taking out the charging handle is very similar, where you have to lift the bolt up to get the charging handle, well, to get the bolt out and the charging handle off and stuff. So that was kind of neat. Single spring up the middle instead of on the side like the Rugers. I kind of like that. The Rugers can kind of cockeye on you, but this is good. Build quality really good. Ease of disassembly. You don't need the tool. They say you can use a coin, but you are going to need an Allen key or a Torx screwdriver. But they do recommend that you use this all the time to get the proper tightness on there. So yeah, you can do it with a coin, but you kind of need a little tool. Now, why weren't they thinking, if you need a T20 hex key or Allen key, why wouldn't they have made that on the other end? Why wouldn't they have pressed in a T20 on the other side of this, so that you could fully take apart your gun with just the one thing? And why doesn't this fit in here somewhere? Why don't they have they got an empty stock here, why doesn't that fit in the back there somewhere? A little compartment like a M14 or an SKS or something like that. or Lee Enfield, how they have the tool that can go into the back. Like, why isn't that in there? That's just going to get lost, and then you're pooched. Anyway, but I can't complain about the insides. All metal, looks real good. I did notice that for only doing about 70 rounds, sure is a lot of crap on the breech face and stuff. I like the double ejectors, one on each side. I like that. That's nice. So there we go. It's going in for its bath. Gun number 3, the Ruger 1022 Takedown. I'm very familiar with these guns. I've got about a dozen of them. Not the Takedown, the normal 1022s. So the Takedown was, I've never watched any of the videos or anything on it. I didn't even read the manual. I assumed that it was going to be very similar, and it is. A couple little differences, but good. I am impressed that Ruger is finally switching out their screws to Torx, or hex, whatever you want to call them. I'm so happy that they've switched those out, but why under the blazing sun can't they switch out the barrel band to one as well? So what you need is a T25 to take down or take out the 2 takedown screws. Those are also the V-block, or what would have been the V-block screws, which is now the receptor for the takedown mechanism. It's all T25, and you need a flat-headed screwdriver just for this barrel band. So if it wasn't because of that, you could get away with only one screwdriver. Some people say you need punch pins to push out the bolt stop and the trigger group pins. You don't. The T25 is the exact size you need for those, and in typical Ruger fashion, most of those just slide out with gravity as soon as you turn them sideways. The bolt stop pin did, and so did the rear trigger pin. The front trigger pin, I gave it a little push with the T25, and it slid right out. So simple and easy. Build quality, it's good. I don't know if I need to pop this bad boy off of here. I don't think I'm going to pop those off. It's just the 2 T25s to get that off. I'm not going to undo that because I don't know what's in there. I don't feel like playing with that tonight. Same with this one. I don't know where I would undo it at. I'm assuming inside there. Don't really feel like playing with that tonight, so I'm going to leave the disassembly at that. The trigger group I am going to take down as well. Just haven't done it yet, but I'm going to pop out. I haven't decided if I'm going to go all the way down to the trigger, but I probably will because I like to play with Rugers. So, build quality is really good. Everything's looking good. I'm a strong proponent of the stainless Rugers because the blued ones, they always seem to overspray horribly inside them, and then you've got to clean them out with some 1600 grit. And this is good. It is rough. I'm not going to take care of that right now. I'm going to wait until after I'm done all this testing, and then I will go in there with some 1600 grit wet and some oil and smooth this out. It is quite rough. The bolt, better than a lot of the bolts I've seen out of Ruger here in the last couple of years. It is actually fairly good. You can see there it's still really dirty. The last 4 I had to actually take a brass wire brush to them on a Dremel to get all that patina. Let's be nice and call it patina. Or what we could call it is just shit rust. But this one's not that bad. But I will. Once we're done the test, I will clean all this up. And even the far side's nice and shiny on this one. That's pretty impressive. The bottom is gross. Well, for Ruger fanatics, it's gross. That should be... I should pull out my one from the 80s and the 90s, and you can have a look at those compared to this, and they're night and day. They definitely don't take the care and attention on their bolts that they used to. But I understand they need to put out so many of them that it doesn't cost money to make it pretty where people aren't going to see. So what can you do? Anyway, build quality is good. Everything's metal. Trigger housing is this new plastic that they switched a couple of years ago that they say is better and stronger. Hey, who am I to say what is or isn't? Hey, look, the pin just fell out. Imagine that. Everything's good. I'm not seeing any obvious defects or anything like that, so everything's metal and good. Just the one extra takedown screw to get the takedown model apart as compared to the normal Ruger. So, there we go. I'll go and clean this one up too now. Okie dokie, gun number 4. Chiappa Little Badger. Now, it's strange, but I actually haven't taken this part. I haven't taken this gun apart yet in the 3 or 4 years I've owned it. And I did tonight. So, simple disassembly. Just one big hinge screw to come out, and then two machine screws, and then the receiver. I don't know what you call the receiver, but the main part, the housing, just comes open like a sandwich, and you get the guts, which are nasty, dirty in here. It's I'm guessing because it's so open here on the different areas, that a lot of crap gets in there, because there is a lot of crap in there. So for disassembly, you need 2 flat screwdrivers and a T20. So again, you need a couple tools to get this one apart. So yeah, not bad. Just pot metal in here. The whole thing's made of pot metal, so not a good high end and stuff, but yeah, nothing wrong with it. That's that. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I'm gonna go and clean all the paste out of here. It's I'm hoping that's not metal filings. I'm hoping that's just a lot of gunpowder residue. There sure is a lot of grit in that.